Welcome to the Art of Hitting channel. Today we got 5 exercises for you to live to be 100 by Dan Go. Dan is a popular YouTube guy and he has his own YouTube channel, and I found this to be a very informative videotape describing the 5 critical exercise, which I pretty much agree with. And the main one is keep moving. Listen to this, you won't be wasting your time. Enjoy.
Longevity. I've done everything from researching studies, reading books, getting biological aging tests, even studying the habits of the world's oldest living people. And through this journey, I found 5 exercises that might improve my chances to living to 100, starting with number 1 is Zone 2 cardio, and here's why. Recent studies have shown that VO2 max is a strong predictor of longevity. And one of the foundational ways to build your VO2 max is to build a strong base of endurance using Zone 2 cardio. And Zone 2 cardio is a type of cardio that you can do for a long period of time that won't necessarily leave you feeling expended. You should be able to have a conversation while doing this type of cardio. And ideally, you would want to keep your heart within this particular range using this chart. And something I noticed with the world's oldest living people, and even the people that I've known that have lived to 100, is that they have a habit of doing some form of Zone 2 cardio. In fact, one of my best friend's grandma and grandfather, they lived to 100, and their habit was walking 2 to 3 miles every single day. Now, my Zone 2 training plan is going to be very simple. I'm going to be using something that is called the MAF method, that is MAF. And I'll be using this type of cardio using my treadmill, on a bike, or even just like walking. And if you want to know everything about the MAF method and how it works, I'm going to leave a link in the description below that describes everything about the MAF method and why it is so effective for Zone 2 cardio. Exercise number 2 is high intensity interval training. And this is another way to improve your VO2 max. Researchers at the University of UT Southwestern used a particular interval training method that allowed participants to reduce the ages of their heart by 20 years. And I'll leave a link to the study right in the description for that one. And the thing about high intensity interval training, it's kind of like heavy lifting for the heart. You want to be able to train it at max capacity, at least every once in a while. Now, the bad thing about HIIT training is that it's pretty hard. And that's why I don't recommend going from being completely sedentary to doing HIIT training. This is something that you want to be able to work up to. Now, my HIIT training plan is going to be variable. So every single week, I'm going to do either a form of this thing that is called the 4x4 Norwegian method, or I am going to be training sprints, which is something that I love doing. Now, sprints, I did a video on it that you can check out over here, but the 4x4 Norwegian method is a method that the University at UT Southwestern, it is the one that they use to improve the VO2 maxes of their participants. And it's also a method that endurance athletes use to improve their ability to run races. And it's very simple. You start with a little warm-up, and then you go 4 minutes at a high intensity that's going to be anywhere between 60 to 75% of your maximum heart rate. And then you are going to be going at a low intensity afterwards for 3 minutes as a rest. And you're going to be doing this 4 times. Now, the third type of exercise that I'm going to be doing to live to 100 is going to be strength training. Now, the first 2 I talked about were specifically for lifespan. So VO2 max helps you live a longer life. When it comes to strength training, it actually improves health span, which helps you live a quality of life. And something you have to understand is that after the ages of 30, we lose 3 to 8% of muscle every single decade. And after the age of 60, this number accelerates. And resistance training is crucial to being functional as you age because it helps you build and keep muscle. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or some like puffed up bodybuilder, but it does mean that you have to do some form of resistance training to keep yourself functional. And quite frankly, I would rather be the oldest person in the weight room than the youngest person in the nursing home. And my strength training plan is going to be simple. My focus is going to be getting stronger in these specific movements, not necessarily exercises, but the movements. It's going to be the squat, the hinge, the lunge, the overhead press, the horizontal press, the pull-up, the horizontal back row, and some form of carrying exercise. Usually it's going to be farmer's walks. And the method I'm going to be using to get stronger at these is going to be progressive overload. And if you don't know what that is, I'm going to leave a link to an article about progressive overload that I did on the 12 best ways to do it. You can check that out in the description below. Exercise number 4 is going to be mobility training. So as we age, our ability to be flexible and our ability to move, it decreases. I believe the number is we lose about 1% every single year after the age of 30 of flexibility. And this becomes even worse if you live a sedentary lifestyle. And something I should mention is that you can get flexible lifting weights. That is a way to improve your flexibility. But in my experience, especially as I get older, we need some form of mobility training to supplement our strength training in order to improve our movement capacity and our abilities to just do basic things like bend over and touch our toes. My mobility training plan is very simple. Every single morning, I'm going to be doing a few mobility drills like the world's greatest stretch, like the couch stretch, and other things to improve my ability to move my body. And before every strength training program that I do and cardio program that I do, I'm always going to be doing a 5 to 6 minute mobility drill right before it. And I'm going to do an entire video around this, but if you want to know what those exercises are, what the types of exercises are, I'm going to leave it again in the description below. Now, the 5th exercise that I'm going to be doing to improve the quality of my life and my health span is going to be some form of plyometric exercises. And plyometrics are simply exercises where you are jumping. Now, we talked about the fact that you lose muscle as you age, but something you have to realize is that you also lose power as you age at a much faster rate than you lose muscle.
Why is this happening to me?
And loss of power affects many things like speed, balance, agility. It's like losing a pep in your step. And one way to avoid this is to do some form of plyometric training, especially for the lower body, to maintain that power and keep your edge as you get older. And certain exercises that you would use to do plyometrics would be simple things like maybe jump rope or even jumping jacks. On a higher level, more advanced level, it would be things like box jumps or even long jumps. And my plyometric plan for my body is going to be very simple. Right before I do any type of workout, I'm doing some form or at least a few reps of plyometric exercises because this is a great way to turn on my nervous system right before I do a hard workout. Now, something you have to realize is that we get older because of the things that we don't do rather than the things that we do. When we stop running, when we stop jumping, when we stop lifting, when we stop moving, that is all a sign that your body is going to get older. And the truth is that you have to use it or you lose it. And I'll tell you right now, I don't think this is enough to really guarantee that I'm going to be living to 100, but I do think it's going to give me a great chance of making it there. But you have to understand that one of the biggest keys to living a long life is getting your body fat to a level where it is preventing disease. So I did a video on the 5 crucial weight loss mistakes that you must avoid in order to lose the weight and keep it off forever. And you can check it out right over here.
Hope you enjoyed. Leave your comments and don't forget to like or comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.